So now our database is created, the basic site is placed in the local web server, and we're ready to go on to the next step, where we're finally ready to get to WordPress. To get the latest version, go to wordpress.org, not wordpress.com, but wordpress.org, and once you're there, click either of the Download WordPress links you see. That will take you to the download page, where you can click Download WordPress 3.8 or whatever the current version number is. Now, it's entirely possible that WordPress may have released a minor bug fix version by the time you take this course. Don't worry though, the techniques I'm demonstrating throughout the course will work with them both. Now, I've already downloaded and expanded the zip file and placed it on my desktop. Once you've expanded the zip archive, copy the WordPress folder. So now it's time to integrate these WordPress files into our existing site. I'm going to open up a Finder window and then navigate to my web server route, which I've placed under the favorites here, htdocs. And there's the site that we've set up. I'll open that up, right-click, and choose Paste Item. And there's my WordPress folder. Now there are quite a few files involved here, 1,291 in this particular version. So it may take a little bit of time for your system to copy the files over. And once it's done, I've got one last little operation before we leave this folder, and this is pretty much just a personal choice. I could leave this folder name as WordPress. There's no problem in that, but I like to rename my files so that the engine that drives the functionality is just ever so slightly hidden. I'm going to change WordPress in this case to blog. Once you've done that, we're ready to do the installation. So now we'll go to the WordPress folder that contains all the files for our installation process in our browser. So I'll open up a new tab, go to http://localhost/ the name of my site, Rue Academy, /blog, which is what I just renamed WordPress. Now hit return or enter, and you'll get a message that says it can't find the WP config file. That's fine. That's exactly what we expected. So now we wanted to create one. I'll click Create a Configuration File. And WordPress will tell you that it's ready to set up, but it does need a bit more information, and make sure you have that before proceeding. We've got everything in hand that we need, so let's go ahead and click Let's Go. And here first, we want to enter in the name of the database that we set up previously. You'll recall we entered it as Rue Blog, so I'll put that in. Next is the username. In the MAMP system and many default MySQL systems, it's root, and the password is also root. We'll leave localhost the same. Now next, for the table prefix, now although this is optional, I'm going to recommend for the next step that you change the table prefix to something different for security reasons. WordPress has become a favorite target for hackers, and you can block many of their standard attempts by customizing the database table prefix. So I'm going to make mine PW_. You can do the same if you're following along, but choose something else for production sites. Once I have that, I'll click Submit. All right, Sparky, one of my favorite phrases. Now we're ready to run the install, so go ahead and click that button, and very shortly, WordPress is ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and enter our site title, which I'm calling Rue Academy. Now, with the username, it's a good idea to change the default from admin to anything else. Again, for security reasons. I'm going to make mine ADM1N and then add a hyphen and my initials. Now I'll go ahead and enter in a password. You want to mix uppercase and lowercase values and then add in some symbols as well. When you start to enter in your password, the strength indicator will kick in to show you how you're doing. So let me repeat that. Next, we enter in the email. And of course, we want our site to be searchable, so leave that option checked. Next, I'll go ahead and click the final Install WordPress. And in short order, we have success. So let's go ahead and log in. I'll put in my admin name and my password. and then click Login. Now there is an introductory screen that comes up with a ton of helpful links. So we're going to cover all of this and more. So at this point, go ahead and click Dismiss that you'll see in the upper right-hand corner. So now we're in the dashboard. We're going to spend a good amount of time exploring and even modifying the dashboard in the remainder of the course. But for now, let's partake of a little immediate gratification by looking at our current site. Go over to the upper left and click on the title name for your site, and it will open up in the browser with the sample content. So here's our site, Roo Academy. The text you see where it says Roo Academy is actually the blog title that we entered earlier. Now, you may not notice a huge difference between the administration site and this site, and that's because the current default theme in WordPress 3.8, which is called 2014, keeps the core styling very basic, although it's capable of handling a magazine-style layout. Let's look at the page with a bit more content. Click the sample page link that you see over in the upper right navigation. You'll notice the consistent sidebar over on the left. Let me scroll down just so you can see the rest of the page, including the footer down below. Everything that you see here, including all the links over on the sidebar, are all part of the standard default setup, which we will totally customize and change throughout the course. So now that you have the essential elements of WordPress set up, you're ready to move on to integrating Dreamweaver into this workflow.